It's haul time. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's a sold videos time. To be honest, I can't remember what we showed last video and what's sold in between.
Don't you worry about that. I know the score.
And we tried to highlight like our most favourite ones, so you don't have to sit through like, you know.
Well, we have the luxury pickers, so showing you like toast every week, unless it's a really, really cool piece, it's not exactly entertaining, is it?
No. So anyway, what I've done is compile some interesting ones. So first up on Zivone.
We'll pop them up as usual on the screen, so
I look a little bit unhinged this evening. It's because I am. Anyway, so first up is Cabbages and Roses knit. We've shown this before in a haul, and we bought it at a dress agency in a local town from us, and we paid, I think in the end it worked out like for £13 an item.
Yeah.
Correct? So we sold this jumper about a month ago.
And you say you paid up, because at the time the actual item was like 20-25 quid in the shop, but when we actually divided each item about across the board, when we bought both, it was like 13 quid, so we're not really paying up, is it?
We sold this about a month ago. It came back because the buyer said it arrived too late for their function. Do you know?
A heavy duty knitted woven jumper.
What function?
Anyway, that's a heck of a. I wonder that function.
Doesn't matter. It was returned.
Anyway, function then.
It came back to us. We sold it then for 70 plus postage. I put it back up for 110 plus postage, and literally about a week after it had been reposted, it has sold for £110 plus posting on eBay.
You always look at the phone. The people are watching.
Yeah, and it will be on the screen, and they'll be like,
They
lovely.
They want to look at your beautiful eyes looking at them. They don't want to just look at... Not that much. Jeez, don't scare me.
I got to read what it is.
Okay, hit me.
This is all eBay for a minute. So next up on eBay is a Peruvian Connection black jersey. I call it like a caftan because it's like a V-neck with like the cap sleeves, pleated front, like very drapey. It is a Peruvian Connection in Pima cotton. And I know a lot of people say they don't pick up the Pima cotton. They only pick up the knitwear and anything that has a floral pattern or alpaca knit or...
More than knits, more like I got alpaca predominantly, really, I guess. But
I pick up everything if it's a good enough price. There's always a market for it.
Also, this wasn't just a. I mean, not that we wouldn't, but this isn't just a basic T-shirt either. It has, as you'll see the picture here somewhere. You'll see that it's got a cool shape. It's different. It's not just. It's not just. I'm saying it's not just a basic T-shirt or a basic kind of. Whatever, you know.
We paid £7 or £8 in a local charity shop. Austin found it, and that sold to the United States of America for 70 plus postage.
The good old US of A.
So that is 10 times technically.
Switch on your old global shipping program, folks. That's all I'm saying.
One that went to London, stayed in the country, was the Joseph tailored pea coat. It was in like army green. It did have a cashmere element. It did have a couple of pesky little moth nibbles. Not holes, like nibbles, you know, when they nibble the top. Anyway, I declared that in the listing, and I had it up for £110. And it went for 100 plus postage. Joseph.
I got it.
Joseph. Don't underprice your Joseph. Joseph is good. Joseph is our friend. Over on the platform that we don't sell on.
Starts with a V and finishes in an inted.
We sold my favourite sale of the time period. I'm trying to mention vintage less.
For the love of Jesus.
I'm trying to mention the site we don't mention a little bit less because, you know, we're good eggs here. But I did sell a Sahara olive green chore jacket. It was the checked one that we found in Taunton that we paid £7 or £8 for.
Yeah.
But it was new label. It was a size medium.
It was kind of cool shape.
It was nice. It was like very... You'll be looking at it right now.
It'll be on my face as we speak.
I put it up for £75. I'm very flexible on said marketplace due to the fact there are no fees. But someone offered me £65 and I was happy to accommodate their needs. So we did that for £65 with no fees and obviously the £7 or £8 investment. So that's really good. But over on Vestiaire has been kicking off.
I would also say before we do this, last time we mentioned Vestiaire, a couple of people DM'd us and said all that kind of like a higher end sales, like a high end, like just larger sales as regards actual monetary value on Vestiaire. And I don't mean to like sound like that guy or a smarty pants or whatever else or a smarty you know what, but you know what, like, why are we surprised? We go on all the time. Like, Vestiaire is the place to put your high-end items. It's for high-end items. It's a marketplace for high-end items.
We do sell
so
really
high-end
well.
items sell on that marketplace.
We do sell really well on eBay, the high-end items.
We do, but I'm saying, like, because we only put high-end on here, it seems when we talk about Vestiaire, it's only...
I see.
Do you see what I'm saying? But by nature, we don't put, like I've said before, we don't put Velvet, that. I mean, we don't put Toast, we don't put those kind of brands.
What?
That.
Anyway,
funny.
A brand that you don't see every day, and I wouldn't expect a lot of people to see every day, but it's good to be aware of, and we're going to do a whole video on it because it's an unusual brand that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of. It's a French brand, and it's called Fleur de Page. And they actually were specialists in hunting and shooting gear. They actually make a handbag in the shape of a gun, because it was originally like a holster type thing. But they started making small leather goods. You can
sell that, I've got to be honest, it was a holster type thing.
The
whole thing, it's amazing. Well,
it's very similar.
Like, it's amazing.
It's very similar to Goyard. It's all hand painted. Goyard's label will be here, just in case anyone wants to know about that. But it's very exclusive. It's hard to get. They do now sell online in the US. This
wasn't available online for a long time, like Goyard.
No, yeah, you couldn't buy it online. And we bought it in Paris. Austin actually bought it for himself. And we thought, we're going to put this away, and if you don't use it, then it'll be like a sitting investment. We thought it was one of those brands that would like kick off, right? If that makes sense.
The strangest thing was, I actually replaced a Goyard wallet with this one, a card holder, which you've seen already anyway. And the funniest thing is, like, when I bought the Goyard, we've spoken about that before, I paid like maybe 120, maybe 110 euros at the time.
Yeah. And
then when I finally sold that, because you couldn't buy it online, went for like 3.5. I can't remember exactly. It was 320 maybe. It went for a lot of money. Anyway, when I wanted to replace it with this, when something kind of is very niche and very popular, it doesn't, even in luxury terms, it doesn't necessarily have to be the most expensive. And what I mean by that is, this card holder was still, how much was it, you just say then?
120 euros at the time.
Yeah, in France. We bought in, what's the big department store?
Galeries Lafayette.
Yeah, but the reason I'm cutting in and saying this, telling this story is, this piece was like, you could pay that much for a Hugo Boss wallet. And that Hugo Boss wallet in like a year, 2 years, 3 years time is worth next to nothing.
We were looking it up and researching it, and there was a lot of like good positive things being said about it, like the secret luxury brand and all this. So it was one of those carried by celebrities, but it wasn't one of those ones you'd see everywhere. It wasn't like a Chanel or a Hermes or something like that. Anyway, we bought it, we kept it in this box with all its paperwork and things like that, and just sort of sat on it, if that makes sense. I put it on Vestiaire maybe end autumn. Anyway, it has sold for above retail. So it sold for £300, which is about, it's only about 20 above retail, but it's above retail. Like you can go buy one in the States if you want to for cheaper money. You could probably get one used, a bit cheaper, but £300 for a card holder as well. So this is a card holder.
Also, bear in mind, Bethany says like a bit above retail. Truthfully, we didn't pay anywhere near that. When we bought we bought it like 110, 120, 130 euros.
Yeah.
So based on the fact it's gone for £300, even that as an investment, if you just bought it and put it away, even with inflation and so on, like, that's a lot of money. That's like over double.
So we had a little flurry of sales, and it was just nice to be getting offers and things. I was feeling very generous, apparently. So we sold an Alexander McQueen blouse. It was actually MCQ, but early MCQ. And I've always said about MCQ, it's Alexander McQueen's diffusion brand, but if you get the older stuff, it's very much, it's better. It's more in line with mainline, and it has interpretations from mainline. Yeah. Whereas MCQ now is like joggers and tracksuits. It's
the whole Karl Lagerfeld thing again. It's mass produced.
Anyway, so it's an MCQ, which does go for a little bit less than Alexander McQueen, but regardless, it was a marbled print flowing top. I was sent offer for 180, and I was happy to take it. It actually had a repair to the neck, which didn't affect the look, it didn't affect the style, it didn't affect anything about the item. So I was more than happy to take that, which probably would have been in line with retail at the time when it was purchased. We bought that on Vinted. I bought that on Vinted in lockdown. I got it in a bundle of things, and I wouldn't have paid any more than £10.
But I was going to say, you didn't list it. That's been listed recently, hasn't it?
Oh, this is all the stuff when we were talking about the backlog stuff and the box stuff.
I didn't want people to think we bought it and listed it in lockdown. It's been sat on the stove that long. It's been
this is all stuff I put away, or stuff that you know came out of the shop and went into a box and that sort of thing. Next up is Prada, another vintage lockdown buy from the same box.
It's funny actually that when you're going through,
It's a silk knit jumper. I say jumper, it's a t-shirt that's knit, and it is it's on the screen right now. It's burgundy red, berry red, burgundy red. And it was silk threaded knit, like almost like crochet style.
Crochet, it feels that way,
but very thin because it's silk. Anyway, took an offer on that one for 150. It was up for 175. Happy to accept that. I paid £5 free postage on Vinted in lockdown. You can see the pattern arising that I just sort of like preyed on cheap clothing for a bit and just put it away.
I feel like in lockdown as well, I don't think, I mean, once again, there's a lot of people making a lot of different videos recently, including us actually, about kind of Vinted buying to resell, which is cool. By the same token, like, not only have we been doing it for a long time, but I also think that I saw something the other day saying, you know, if everyone keeps talking and buying from Vinted, it's going to be a problem as regards kind of stock and so on. Not really. My answer would be, if more people are buying, more people will put stock on. If people are selling regularly, people will put more to sell on. If we sell stuff on Vinted, we buy more stuff to put on Vinted. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's a problem ever. I've
been selling Isabel Marant Italy t-shirts. Italy is the diffusion range. It's very much ready to wear. It's very t-shirt, jeans, summer dresses.
It's like really cool, smart casual.
You can, but I've been selling them quite consistently for between 50 and 65, depending on condition. This one was a burnout tee, so it's when they're sheer. And I always have a thing about selling burnout tees because I feel like you're not getting anything. You're just getting a little piece of material that you can see through.
But it's like anything. It's like a pocket square, a scarf or something. It's not a lot, but you people do pay for it. So we
pay £3 for that in a local to us charity shop. Now the next one up is a Prada silk vest, and this was part of a set. And we have nice the skirt, and we also have the top that matched. We paid £20 for both on Vinted during lockdown. They're silk, but they're like shell. They're all like, they look like nylon and feel like nylon, but they're 100% silk.
They're kind of padded, aren't they? Like they're like double. What do you call it?
Like
double-sided.
Newer tags. I had it up for 165 because although it was newer tags, it has what I call storage wear. So it was newer tags, but it needed a clean. But I didn't want to clean it because it was newer tags. Does that make sense? Because then it's not newer tags anymore. And anyway, I took an offer for £147 and 98p apparently.
On this on the top, just to clarify,
the top, and we still got the bottom. So obviously that would make the bottom completely free, but if that makes sense.
It totally does. Obviously we're in profit on the top as well. The other thing is, someone mentioned the other day about suits. You were speaking to someone about suits, about blazers and kind of trousers, and we mentioned maybe splitting them. And as we always say, especially with kind of high end.
Split them,
so the pieces. So for example, to wait for someone to buy a suit, which was like for us, which was like one day you would have seen the top, but the skirt was just a matching kind of not mini skirt, but a short skirt. And to have someone to come and buy that as a set in that size, which fitted perfectly, is honestly, after doing this for so long, to get someone to do that and be happy with that would be such a stretch. It's just easy to split them and buy a top and buy a skirt.
Also, all these things, just for reference, the two Prada tops, the Isabel Marant top, the Alexander McQueen top, all sizes 8 and 10. Just for reference.
You say reference. A lot of people are into buying
small sizes.
I would actually say most of the high-end luxury stuff, guys, if you're ever out and about and you see it, I mean, you're going to grab it anyway, I know. But if you are out and about, don't be put off by size, because to be fair, most high-end luxury brands don't do bigger size, or I class as bigger size at least anyway.
They go up to size 14, but they make limited runs. So
even at 12 and 14, I'll be honest, there's a lot less made of that size than there is, for example, a 6 and 8, but 4 in some cases.
Next up were two things sold to the same person, so big up that person. So they bought a Valentino tie from us. Always check the ties. A vintage tie, 1980 silk, and it had a leaf pattern on it. It was leafy. You're going to be looking at it right now, so I shan't describe
you know what?
it.
If it'd been any other colour, it would have bore me to tears. But the fact it was the kind of bright colours, it had something to it, you know.
Yeah,
it's a standout. That's what I'm saying.
So that sold for full asking of £50.
50 for a tie, guys. Who knew?
When you can pick them up for 50p, £1, £2, that's a good return, isn't it? And then the same person also bought a Dior blazer just after I went on about buying 3-button blazers and how they're like bang on trend and everyone should buy blazers. We sold a second one. So that was a Dior one. It was literally plain wool navy blue. Honestly, one of the most uninteresting blazers from Dior I've ever picked up in my life. We paid £8.
We did indeed.
And that sold for 160.
You know, like, this is what I'm saying.
So they spent 210 on a blazer and a tie.
Sometimes they want to look smart, didn't they? Sometimes, you know, like those blazers, for example, like longer line in navy. It's not that it's not wanted. People obviously do want them. Clearly, they're paying for them. But that's when kind of your brand knowledge and knowing good brands as opposed to just mediocre brands helps. So, for example, picking up a blazer for 6, 7, 8 quid and then turning that into like whatever that was, 100 and whatever. Like, it is important to know brands.
210 for two for an investment of maybe £10.
Yeah,
210 back. Next up with the Gucci, we picked up these Gucci's in a video in Bath. We paid up on them. We paid 25 or 30.
Yeah, but it was quite a lot. They were also quite small. They were size 3, I want to say.
They were size 2.
There you go.
Which technically is borderline kid size, but they had the adults labelling on them, so that's how you can tell. Gucci Baby has different labels, or Gucci Children. It's called.
Sometimes it's a teddy bear. A teddy bear.
It's normally white and gold as well, but on the newer stuff that doesn't apply. On the newer stuff, they have the same labels as adults, and there's a few other different things you can use to identify if it's children's or adults.
Also, side note: a lot of most Gucci shoes, some of the slip-ons, it did depend from shoe to shoe. But a lot of Gucci shoes, if you're an 8, you would buy a 7 because they kind of size up naturally.
I buy 5.
And you're what, 6 or 7? Yeah, okay. So what I'm saying is, so although it was registered as a 2, if you bought Gucci before, that's probably about a 3, 3.5, possibly even a 4, depending on your shoe.
Yeah.
So,
and they had a bit of a block heel, which isn't the most fashionable style of loafer in the world ever.
But that also means it's banging because
it's kind of cool.
You know,
it's kind of cool. Anyway,
not everyone's wearing it.
They were navy, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah, navy leather. They had where they were very what I would call vintage condition. If you wanted something that hadn't been used, that was not the shoe for you. I accepted an offer. They were up for 140, 150. I accepted an offer of 128 and 7 pence. So they obviously offered a percentage off, but I was happy to take it because that is a fast turnaround for a size 2 shoe. Size 2 does sit. It does. It does sit. Unless you're going to be bougie and buy your kids some really fancy school shoes, they sit.
And the problem is, like I just said, right? So it could be a size 3, 3.5 possibly fit. But because it is a 2 and it's marked as a 2, you have to put 2 in. However, the amount of conversations you'll have with people and they'll say, is this an actual 2? Because they'll know Gucci size in. They'll say, or is it a proper Gucci 3, so it's a 2? And those conversations are the most tedious to have. So like you say, I'd rather just have, as much as that can happen with a 5 or a 6 or a 7, I would rather have the conversation and just say, these are a Gucci size X. Go and see online. I can give you a measurement if you'd require. Centimetre tip to tip. And it's just easier that way. 100%.
Now, that is it. That's my highlights. My highlights. We've had more sales, obviously. But those are highlights. Now, one sale I do want to talk about briefly is my lampshades. I want to talk about my lampshades.
They're not here.
They're not here, they're downstairs. But I'll put a picture up. We paid £4.50 for these lampshades, and if you saw the footage, Austin doubted my intelligence. He doubted my lampshades, didn't you, a little bit?
I think your intelligence is strong. Did I 100% agree with the purchase of those lampshades? I'm not going to record and say, no, I didn't. However, I also learned through the years that... basically, don't F with Bethany when she chooses to pick something up. Because even if at this point we lose, it's easier for my life and my home life as well as my professional life just to shut up. So whether it's good, bad or indifferent, it doesn't matter. This, however, did pay off substantially. So talk to the folks. Let them know what happened.
I can't say I off listed them, but
I can. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I put them off real hard. I was doubting myself, if I was honest. I looked.
You do that too much. You are really good when it comes to what you like.
I bought them because they looked really like 1970s bachelor pad, like in the jungle room sort of vibes, right?
Big time.
And we paid £4.50 for the two. And I also did some research. I looked up like mushroom lampshade and things like that. And you'll be looking at it right now, so it's not relevant. And I came across this guy called Gazzini, or his designer called Gazzini.
Old Gazzini.
And he made these like lampshades that look exactly the same as mine. Obviously, mine weren't marked, anything like that. And I absolutely know nothing about homeware apart from, you know, what strikes me as like on trend and cool and funky and good. Anyway, so I just listed them as 1970s, mid-century modern, mushroom, brown ombre lampshades, can be used as pendant, uplighters, whatever, right? I listed them and I put, based off one single one I sold for 50. So I thought, well, I got two. I'll sell them as a pair because they would look nice as a pair, like next to the bed or in a dining room situation. And I listed them as Gazzini style. And I listed them and they sold within an hour for £100 full asking. And then I
told you she knew nothing about interiors.
And then I put a story on our Instagram to say how proud I was of the sale, because I was really genuinely proud. Like, homewares is like a hobby for me and I just enjoy doing it. It's so funny because we started reselling because we enjoyed it so much, but now our hobby is our job, but our job doesn't feel like a hot job. But
you look at the hobbies.
Technically don't have an outlet for our hobby because it's a job. So anyway, so I thought I'm going to start looking at homeware as a hobby.
No, because I do know what you mean. Because what we do, because we do this every single day, not that we know everything, but a lot of the stuff we see daily we know about, and enough to say, well, that's worth it, that's not.
Yeah.
Whereas homeware, you can pick and be like, I wonder, I just wonder. You know what I mean?
Anyway, and I put a picture up the most amazing woman, Pound Girl Reseller, who's on YouTube and she's on Instagram and she's just like the best ever. She said, I actually think they're Gazzini, and I was like, that's just knowledge, isn't it? And that just proves knowledge is power.
It is.
She said I wouldn't have got much more, maybe £100 each.
So not much more, yet double. But
I learnt.
You did.
I learned.
And if we see those again,
and that's life.
I'll pick them up.
I've learned to trust my instincts when it comes to homeware. Maybe I do have somewhat of an eye for things I'm into, and maybe we can make money out of that on the side for fun things like holidays and, you know.
Do you know what I'll say? Like, I as much as I joke, when Bethany does see something she likes, she has like her own kind of specific taste. But when she picks things up, I will say this: I don't think you've ever picked a piece of homeware up which you've then gone to list and is like died a death. I will say that much.
No, I
so I as much as I joke, I do 100% trust you. But the same token, listen, we're not going out and spending hundreds. It's not like £6,000 on this.
It's like a hobby. It's fun, isn't it?
And that's pick things up.
That's how people should look at luxury. Like if they want to delve into it or anything, just like try things. Like try and pick.
Don't be
things
scared.
up.
As long as you're not like betting the house on it.
I didn't know what those lampshades were. I just knew that they had quality, they had style,
and
they
had
them. Like some fun about them. They were pretty cool. You're looking at them. I'll tell you, like I'll put pictures up of like the style I thought they would fit in and everything like that. And I just went with my, and I was adamant. He was looking at me like a crazy lady, and I'm a Libra for anyone who wants to know.
Now bear in mind, I remember the specific charity shop. They're on the floor, right?
No, they're hanging on the wall.
No, they were
hanging on the wall.
Where was this then? This was on West
Street.
Oh, okay, no, I didn't remember that.
They were hanging on the wall, and they're £4.50 for two. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm getting these. And he was looking at me, and I was like, no, I'm getting them. This is that thing.
Right, in my defence, right, any time, which sometimes you see, sometimes you don't see, but you wouldn't hear because obviously we voice over our charity shops. A lot of the time, when I go and look at something different, okay, granted, a lot of the time it's mental. I do have to, you know, preempt by saying that. When I look at anything,
you found that computer game.
Yeah, I know, but when I look at something, and even then you were like, oh, what are you looking at? I'm looking at these £4 shoes, and I was like, well, let me just look. What I'm saying is, we are both very much like, what are you looking at now? It's not clothes. Why are you doing this? Why? And I think we are becoming a bit more, you know what? Like you say, hobby. Like, I want to pick this up and it's £3, and what I'm going to do, lose £3. I'm good.
It's a hobby.
You know?
And every now and then, when my hobby pays off and it meets the highlight criteria, then you're going to see it. Anyway, that is us for today.
I like that.
We're trying to keep this one short and sweet because we double uploaded last night and it was pretty intensicals. So I wanted to leave this one, you know, like super cash. We're out and about tomorrow.
We are. We're going to put up sometime tomorrow. We are in
Cardiff. But we're also staying at Austin's Mama's house. So
I joke, I love it.
we got to work around that and uploading and things like that. Most comfortable bed in the world. It's like going to a hotel.
It is. So we will be putting that up. Also, just to clarify, you said we double uploaded yesterday. The second video yesterday was a half rant and a half kind of like, what are we doing with life?
Midlife crisis.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. Thank you everyone for commenting. Like, we've had a lot of comments, and we've just before this video, we've been kind of replying to comments.
That's why this video is a bit like
madness. Like, we're on the edge.
I'm on like I'm on like a down, not down like a negative down, not down at all. I'm on like a like
need to sleep, need to kind of just
lots
recharge.
coming at me, and Austin's like high on Red Bull all the time.
No, I'm not. That's such a lie. When was the last Red Bull? Tell them, go on.
About half an hour ago.
Like 20 minutes ago, max, you know?
Anyway, so we're going to decompress. We've answered all comments, and then we'll get ready to go tomorrow, and we'll be over on Instagram at Luxury Pickers, probably spouting something.
We'll do some road tripping on Instagram. Maybe we'll do some questions or whatever else. Who knows?
Who does know?
I mean, I don't. That's why I'm saying I just don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, we're back tomorrow. Love you.
Bye.